Listen. Telekinesis is easily the best power to have. So when I heard that the guy who adapted The End of the Effing World for Netflix was also adapting Charles Foreman's I Am Not Okay With This, I was like, okay, acronyms it is. But considering it's from the producers of Stranger Things, that means that again, a 30-minute graphic novel gets stretched out to multiple seasons and gets stripped and stuffed with as many 80s references as possible. But I still liked it. Let me explain. So the series consists of 7 episodes, with them being like 20 minutes long, so it's an easy binge if you don't want to get spoiled like I'm about to do. Just like in the graphic novel, you follow Sydney, an angsty high schooler dealing with newfound abilities, played by Sophia Lillis, who I guess refuses to star in this decade. After her father's suicide, the whole family starts falling apart. Her little brother Liam has to make his own pasta because they won't buy him Chef Boyardee. Sydney accidentally murders his hamster because of her abilities. Poor kid's getting bullied at school. So if we do have a follow-up for this, if there's one person who I want to eventually get powers so he can somehow bring back Banana Wigglesworth, it's Liam.
The first suit's always the hardest to design.
Sorry, what was the plan again?
Well, I'm gonna build the suit and kick Richard Reiner's ass.
When it comes to the mom,
People I love don't love me back.
Well, maybe you're aiming too high, hun.
yeah, she kind of validates the title. But then we get other characters, like Wyatt Oleff, who's playing another character named Stanley, but one who may actually make the cut for the sequel.
These are the people that will actually attend the 5, 10, 20-year reunion. Because aside from this, nothing else all that noteworthy is going to happen.
He's definitely that kid who complains about your hometown all the time, but never intends to leave it. He's the first to learn about Sid's powers and really hits it off with her, popping zits, giving her free weed, getting friend-zoned. Meanwhile, Dina, I think, definitely deserves more moments in the show.
I was told to watch, oh my gosh, what is it called? My So-Called Life, which I also have watched backwards and forwards because Dina's character is a lot like her best friend in that show.
Both of them became friends and hit it off when they were new kids, but after puberty, Dina kind of expanded her adventures. In the comic, there's actually another older character that Sid comes across named Ryan, who plays a big part in the story, so I don't know if she's going to show up in another season or if they're just divvying up her role between these two. But as far as the show goes, Dina and Sid share a moment, but Dina's still with Brad until he cheats. So then he seeks revenge on Sid for exposing his secrets.
Let's just say that tonight's gonna be fucking mind-blowing.
And sadly, he was right. After stealing her diary and calling her out at the dance, Sydney pops him, just like those zits from earlier. In the comic, she actually confronts him at work, and more so gives him an aneurysm so the poor soul could get an open casket, not the open Jimmy got. As for the show, Stanley snatches the diary. Dina still doesn't know about the powers, but then it turns into like Life is Strange as Sid meets this mysterious figure at the Watchtower who just had to end the season with the most cliche line.
Let's begin.
Shall we begin?
So here's the thing. Just like with The End of the Effing World, they're taking what was a short comic and expanding on it beyond the ending in order to create more seasons. And that's not a bad thing. The second season of The End of the World wasn't bad. We just got hit with the end of ours and moved on to the next thing. But when you compare the ending to the comic for this one and where they want to take this thing, it seems vastly different. So full comic spoilers right here. That being that she sees at the end is represented as a ghost, almost like a poop stain in the corner of her walls in the comic. But for the show, they're giving it a body, and it seems to be like a evil Nick Fury. The ending of the comic also isn't as heroic, since Sid gets so exhausted with her powers that she decides to end her life instead of risking an outburst that would hurt her family or others around her. I don't think Netflix is going to take it that way. According to the showrunner, they're going to go for conspiracies and people trying to weaponize this power, probably leading to a Dark Phoenix-like ending or some form of isolation. Meanwhile, they'll be stuffing as many Stranger Things refs as they can in order to be named the ugly sister to Stranger Things. Because Stranger Things. And if all else fails, John Hughes references. Seeing as they're adding to the story, I don't know if they're going to pivot to be like other superpower shows that Netflix has. There's Raising Dion, which also had secret organizations and very similar mysterious presences. Also was a great lesson on how not to wire your stunts. Because now that she can semi-control her powers, that entity at the end may want to use her or train her. Maybe there is more to that incident overseas that killed everyone except her father when he was deployed. Maybe there's an organization of anti-heroes like the one in Glass. Maybe she'll go full Chronicle. Or, maybe they'll remember that there was a comic and it said, sometimes there's no answers and life sucks. Sadly, streaming is following the way of TV and it's filler because in the era of overabundance, the goal is to franchise and serialize any property you can get if the original source is good enough. People move on too quickly nowadays, so, stuff it with as many familiar tropes or callbacks to things people already do like in order to hook them faster. And you just rinse, wash, and repeat it. I know that sounds like a negative Nancy on the show because I really do like it. I think it's very enjoyable, it's short and it's fun, and it's not bad to go, hey, I understood that reference while you're watching something. But I worry that the more time a show spends referencing other things, the less time it's building things that it can be referenced back to.
Let's begin.
Thank you guys for checking out this video. I'm curious to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Again, I highly recommend the comic. It's very short and you can read it for free on Hoopla. For those of you who don't know, you just combine your library card. It's very short and it's way different than the show. Not completely different, but it definitely feels like the show is taking it and trying to explain. They do this for everything. A lot of Netflix shows should really only be a season, but they expand it. Sometimes it's good. I want to say, for me personally, 90% of the time, it doesn't go so well. And hearing some of the thoughts that they're going here, it could be good. I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be at home. I'll watch it. But I don't like the pitch being that it's a more irreverent Stranger Things and a slightly sanitized end. I would go on a bigger binge how everyone seems to be doing this thing where it's it's present time, but nobody uses their phones because they want it to be 80s. Sex Education does this. End of the Effing World does it. Riverdale does this. I'll even put it for shows I do. I love Euphoria, but I am fully aware that these are shows that have playlists from the directors. The kids would never listen to them, so even in Euphoria, they're dancing to a playlist of what the showrunners listen to. It's this weird amalgamation of the filmmakers wanting, young actors to... It's weird. I don't know. My only thing with that is that when you show a MacBook or a phone, while you're trying to get an aesthetic, you're kind of forgetting the fact that they would have all filmed the blowing up of the head. It's just things that I may make a whole nother video on there because I have found some crazy quotes when it comes to the production of these things and how they're all the same thing, but we'll get to that. I really do like the show. I recommend it. I recommend the book even more, and I recommend that Netflix stops trying to serialize everything when there's no need for it. Other than that, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hopefully we figure out why these cars' rims were on the floor. Until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
And most importantly, Sid, have fun.